everyone, I'm Jenni Matthews, Head of Marketing for MRI On Location for Footfall Analytics, formerly known as Springboard, and I'd like to share with you the monthly highlights from the last month or so. But before I do, I just want to give you a bit of background to MRI software. MRI software is a leading provider of real estate software solutions that transform the way communities live, work and play. MRI's open and connected AI-first platform empowers owners, operators and occupiers in commercial and residential property organisations to innovate in rapidly changing markets. We have been a trailblazer in the PropTech industry for over 5 decades, serving more than 6 million users worldwide. In this short webinar, we take a look at footfall performance throughout February 2024, where footfall continued to fall from 2023 levels, suggesting that store closures, rail strikes and storms are potentially taking their toll on retailers. Compared with 2023 levels, footfall fell for the second consecutive month by around 2% across UK's retail destinations, and this was largely driven by a year-on-year decline of 3.5% in high streets. This could indicate the number of high street brands which streamlined physical store operations over the last 12 months through closures, and for some high streets, these brands may well have served as an anchor in driving footfall to specific locations. However, it wasn't all doom and gloom. In line with historical trends, footfall bounced back in February from January, following the post-Christmas slump, and this was largely driven by the half-term school holiday in the third week of the month. Overall, footfall rebounded in high streets by almost 11.5%, compared with a lower rise of just over 8% across all UK retail destinations. The start of the month was fraught with rail strike and overtime ban disruptions across the UK, which surprisingly failed to hamper footfall activity, with high streets leading the charge as footfall rose by 4.5% from the week before. This rebound is likely to be attributed to a bounce back in activity from the week before when Storm Isha impacted travel across the UK. With widespread action taking place, all regions and town types suffered with declines in footfall at some point during the 9 days of strike action. Despite a drop in activity in the second week, footfall rebounded in the third week by almost 20% in high streets, compared with around 15% across all UK retail destinations, which is likely to have been driven by half-term in many regions and was expected following trends in recent years. The final week of the month saw footfall drop by almost 9% from the week before, and this could highlight financial pressures for consumers as they tightened purse strings ahead of payday, which may not have occurred until that final week for some. If we look at activity by weekday versus weekends, we can see that footfall declined by 4% during the weekday period, compared against 2023 levels, which is likely to be as a result of the rail strikes that took place in the earlier part of the month. However, the impact during the weekend was much more minimal, with an annual drop of 0.5%. At a regional level, high streets across the UK witnessed declines of some degree, which again brings us back to how closures of stores may be having an impact on footfall in these locations. Wales and the South East appeared to witness the greatest year-on-year drop, averaging around 8%, whereas the West Midlands saw a lesser annual drop of around 1.5%. As we head into March, retail destinations should approach this with optimism, as the second largest trading period falls towards the end of this month, Easter. Falling a week earlier than last year, this shift allows retail destinations to benefit from the holiday build-up, starting around the third week of the month. Despite consumer confidence falling by 2 points in February, as published by GfK, the outlook for the next 12 months remains strong as consumers continue to spend despite the cost of living crisis. The metric which measures people's personal finance situation for the next 12 months highlighted stability, as this had not slipped back and was actually 18 points higher than last February. This suggests that consumers are maintaining control over their finances and budgeting accordingly for the year ahead, with relief coming in the form of reduced energy bills, and optimism that inflation and interest rates may also be set to fall. If these monthly insights have whetted your appetite for more, then be sure to head online to subscribe for our benchmarks and get them delivered directly to your inbox weekly or monthly, or check out our resource library for the latest on-demand content. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.